There's actually no way for me to get everybody working that I want working in this city. Maybe no. The fishermen need to stay where they're at. I just need food shipped into Hammer's truck. Probably from Mother or Pearl over here. Alright, so Fort Cod has a little bit of happiness. Maybe I can get the farmer to do his thing. Yeah, that'll help out. Let's replace the... Well, no, let's not replace the refugee quite yet, because he might as well keep learning to be an elder statesman. Tell you what I need. A hunter doing his thing. But now we're negative on happiness again. Okay. Let's pull him out. Let's make Colonial Distiller do his thing. Then maybe we pull the coal miner temporarily. I think that makes sense. It does not fix the happiness, actually. Huh. We pull the fruit picker, and that fixes it. Alright. Get enough fruit in storage that it's not a big deal for running out for fruit brandy production. Got a promotion on our super medic unit. He might be pretty good to turn into a just all-around good unit, so bayonet perhaps. Yeah, let's go with bayonet. That'll make getting future experience easier, because we won't be facing that many mounted units for quite a while. And this should be the end of this particular village. Indeed it is. What did we get off that village, by the way? We got a native slave and 1,772 gold. That's better. I like that more. Iroquois upset about us having open borders with the Danes. I'm not gonna say yes to them. And we got a little bit of money to make and some people to pick up. So we got a master roaster to start working on proper coffee. We do have a coffee planter not too far away that can start doing her thing. Let's come out of the screen here, see if any events come up. No, they don't. Got ourselves another French caravel. This one is in fog, so it's a little bit more defensive. But we still have no odds of dying, so take that shot no matter what. It looks like it might be a retreat here. It is indeed a retreat, alright. That's fine, send in the next one. They only have 2.6 strength left, so we will crush them. Hopefully we can capture them, although I'm not sure if privateers can capture ships. We sunk it completely, very good. Yeah, they do have a chance to capture defeated ships. That'd be pretty cool if we could get some of those. Oh, we got 88 horses off that caravel. That's not nothing, especially in Africa. Right, with the complete destruction of that village, we're going to spend a moment to regroup and heal this one particular cannon, which will only take one turn with our awesome medic. And then head west over to the native village over here, Talpero. And then we'll only have 2 villages left to destroy, then the Carib will no longer be a threat. Now that we do have some gold that we need to spend, how expensive are fishermen getting at the moment? 3,840, I'll take that actually. Send you guys on your way to where? Probably Fort Cod? Actually, that prospector needs to go somewhere to the gems, right? So Fort Cod would be the way to go, but we need to prepare him to be a settler. The best place for that might be Pearl Harbor. Yeah, let's send him down to Pearl Harbor, and then from there, he'll get set up as a settler and then move on somewhere else to the west. Got the free colonist finally set up as a pioneer in Pearl Harbor and a failed trader from my exploration. I'm gonna drop the pioneer off with my other pioneer unit. I like to get improvements done faster to get benefits sooner so that I can snowball faster. So I try to concentrate my units together, my workers. And that failed trader is probably gonna go up to the Red Bear to help them with carpentry. Alright, finally got enough food on hand that I can hopefully get everybody employed the way I want them employed here in Hammerstruck. Maybe I should put the fishermen here, because it's going to ease moving things around, and I'm inevitably going to get fishermen set up here. So I guess I should go ahead and fix some of the food issues present here in Hammerstruck. Using my scout, I have found that the Carib are still present in the central area here, which is unfortunate. So I do need to watch out for this area at least until I can finish off the last 2 villages. And then man, I think I'm going to have to take a bit of a break here. Maybe play some Victoria 3 on a playthrough that I'm going to put up on the series. But for y'all, I'll be gone for just a moment. Alright, I'm back for maybe an hour if I'm lucky of recording. Hopefully that'll be enough time to get an episode put together It won't be enough to have the episode done November 25th, Saturday, but maybe on November 26th, Sunday. I had quite the Thanksgiving party, so that whole day I was just busy. So of course no time to record or edit. Anyway, let's get back to building up our little colony here again. So the natives are offering to give us some native slaves in exchange for 810 gold. I'm not sure about that considering our happiness issues. I'd rather not do so. If we were a civilization more focused on slaves, then it would be a different story. And a couple of these slaves have actually run away recently. One of them decided to rebel and has some guns. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody that is free in the garrisons to deal with any barbarians running about. So I could send out the slave hunters temporarily. I'll probably have to do that actually. I got another expert fisherman to install into Brown Cow. So we'll get him put in. And that'll really help to fix up our food issues. I've never done the math on whether or not it's better to grow population versus immigrate gold or crosses. But I'm sure it changes based on the amount of time that you've been playing the game. Like late game, I'm sure homegrown stuff is better. Early game, it's immigrants. But I do like to grow up my own population naturally if I can help it. And we got the butcher here too. Let's see if we can get him to start doing his job. We do have the health, happiness, and the law and order. Well, maybe law and order. So if he butchers, we grow cattle here. So cattle will produce 6 food, well 6.66 food, as well as 6 hides. That's pretty good. I need to remember, is it lined leather coats directly from cow hides, or do you go to leather goods first? It looks like, according to the leather worker's house here, it is cow hides and down. Yep. So we want to consider getting that built after the village market and the tavern. And we can start making some really nice 17 gold. We just need somebody to butcher the geese as well as make the clothing itself. Let's see in Fort Cod if I can get my coal miner to do his job without ruining the happiness here. Yes, indeed I can. That's probably down to me importing fruit, brandy, and wine from some of my other colonies. Let's see if I can push in the, well, I can't do it because we have negative food now. Let's see if I can push one more here. We go into unhappiness at that point, so I have to pull out at least one of them. Oh, we've got a harlot here now though, in Fort Cod, so we can get her doing her job. Let's pull the coal miner and replace him with the harlot to act as a lady in the night. Then let's bring back the hunter. We're still having food issues here though, so we need to import food in order to continue adding people. But other than that, we can get bigger here. And another harlot has arrived in Pearl Harbor. So let's get her slotted in. That really boosted our happiness through the roof. Let's go ahead and let's slot in the medical office after the lumber mill here. We're going to have some issues with health pretty soon. Maybe not this turn, because I don't think anybody can be put to work in a good spot. Then after the medical office, maybe we go for an armory, or not an armory, but a powder maker house. Give old powder maker a job. I think that sounds like a decent idea. Anyway, let's see if we can get these fishermen to work here. I don't know, let's think about that. We got one more boat coming on the way back with an expert fisherman. That means that we have 3 fishermen to place. We really need to fix Fort Cod's food issue, so I'd like to get one there, unless I can set both fishermen up in, 2 fishermen up in Threadbare. That'd be wonderful. And there's actually a coral reef right here just east of Brown Cow that actually makes a lot of base fish. So I'd like 1 in Brown Cow, 2 in Threadbare. The second one, well the one after that, it's probably going to be in Mother of Pearl because it has a better dock. Or we can put it in Port Stoned actually. We do need to start building this up. I had forgotten that I had built Port Stoned. So one of these fishermen, no, we'll leave Port Stoned for later. We need the fishermen ideally to go on the faster boat. I actually have a caravel here. Nope. Caravel is not actually faster than the merchantman in this case. It's got no promotions. Anyway, we'll send those fishermen off first over to Brown Cow. I've spoken a little bit about getting another galleon, but in truth I think I'm leaning towards not doing that. I'm not sure it's worth that much money. But I do have 2 trips worth of treasures sitting just outside Pearl Harbor right here, with at least 1 more trip finishing pretty soon. Probably a 4th trip not long after that. I could say that there'd be 5 or 6 more trips at most. Considering that it would take us about 14 turns per trip. Let's say 7 trips, that's 98 turns. That's the equivalent of 32 turns in the regular game. And in the regular game you had like 300 turns I think to play, so it's like 10% of the game. I'm not sure cutting that down to 5% is a better choice in exchange for about 9,000 gold. Yeah, 9,120 gold. We could build it ourselves, but to get to the point where we can build it ourselves, we probably will have already done all the trips. We need a shipyard, we need hardwood. We've got like access to almost everything that it needs, we just need a shipyard. We got a village hall done in Threadbare. Now we need to consider what to move on to. I'm kind of thinking a village market. Or we could go with a dock, considering how many fishermen we're gonna have. I think a market into a tavern makes sense for a lot of colonies that I build just to get the basic infrastructure, followed by, say, weaving or something. We could go weaving sooner. It does depend how much happiness we have. With the church, we get some extra happiness, thankfully, and the preacher actually generates from some law just by preaching. So we're doing pretty well. We could get away with actually setting up weaving here. Possibly now. We're at +3 food, it could be higher. But I do need to get our culture to grow faster so that we can reach the wheat over here. That's barley actually, okay. We can reach the barley. I thought that was wheat, but that's alright then. So never mind about expanding the borders so rapidly. I'd like to actually get a weaver's house rolling, so we can get somebody to take care of that for us. And then we'll have some agents in Denmark that tell us that there are people who might immigrate to our colonies rather than the colonies of their mother country. For the small amount of 1,200 gold, they could be completely convinced. We could say no, we could say yes. There's a good chance that we upset our relationship with them, I think. But I'm okay with that. Especially because you have the possibility of gaining one of their unique colonists, such as our colonial distiller. So we can grab that from them, either by capturing their cities or doing it this way. Or buying the cities, but that never happens. But once you've got them, you can then teach that specialty in education facilities to other colonists. I'm pretty sure I've checked that, and maybe they don't intend for that to be an actual possibility, but that's how it is at the moment. Let's go ahead and let's give them the money. This is pretty cheap for some colonists too. Ooh, a master tobacconist. Never mind about saying ooh. I'd much rather have hemp on my grasslands than tobacco. So I think that tobacconist might end up becoming a pioneer. We got some food delivered to Fort Cod so we can actually push our population higher without the game complaining. And alright, we got an expert fruit picker installed and a coal miner installed as well to help with the input goods there. We're now at 0 happiness though, so I'm not sure I can get the confectioner into the colony. I'm kind of wondering about the confectioner, whether or not I even want to keep them around as a confectioner. In order to make chocolate, you need sugar and cocoa. Specifically, you need the roasted cocoa and sugar. And all of our sugar is going to get turned into rum. Chocolate isn't, in my experience, I don't think it's often demanded very much. So I think that we're going to probably not keep this guy around. Yeah, let's go ahead, we'll clear his specialty. Oh shit, don't tell me. I just had a bug where all of my colonists cleared their specialty. Don't know how that happened. Yeah, I had this dude was an elder statesman, this dude was a confectioner, and this guy was the free colonist. No one else in the colony was affected. I'm gonna try to fix this by using the world builder and covering up the map on the bottom left so I don't know what the Well, it looks like at the time. We'll see if I can do it that way. I've got the Elder Statesman in the coal miner. Now I just need to execute these extra dudes. So we just got a Master Blacksmith immigrate to our colonies on the docks. Considering that we have 2 extra Master Blacksmiths now, we might be persuaded to actually start working on a second tool/blade facility. The mixed tech are asking us for help in their war, but we're gonna of course say no. I don't think we have the military positioning to deal with the Spanish. We built markets in 5 cities before any other colony. Wonderful. So now the private traders will give us a reward. We could receive 2 hardy pioneers, which is a lot of money right there. Or 2 wagon trains. I'll take the pioneers. And then I'm going to sell off a boatload of gold and decide whether or not we want to import any domestic goods or get some more immigrants. We'll do that at the end of the turn. And the king offers us some slaves for 540 bucks. That's more expensive than actually going to Africa and buying them yourself. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do it in the first place. We do have some foolish braves that decided to come towards us though here. Let's just go ahead and absolutely crush them. And they are now dead. The Russians are going to war against some native nation somewhere. Not much for us to worry about. Okay, now that I got this farm built on this tile that we're using for rice farming, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head to Fort Cod with my pioneers and start chopping down this jungle. Or this jungle right here, one of these jungles. And we're going to turn those tiles into coffee plantations. But along the way we will build a road, though we have plenty of pioneers to provide labor to get it done pretty quick. Holy crap man, this dude's been working as a carpenter for 85 turns and still hasn't learned how to do it right. That is impressive. Anyway, what are we going to do with this free colonist? If I push him into the colony to become an entertainer, or not an entertainer, but a lady of the night, he does bump our happiness up to 1, and then he could start learning how to be a lady of the night from the correct lady of the night. I guess we could just say harlot. Yeah, let's just say harlot. Trying to avoid other words that YouTube may find offensive. We could do that, and it's going to be a while before he becomes effective. But having him learn naturally over time does sound nice to me. Although we are about to finish the market will provide us a decent amount of happiness and some more culture on top of that. But the culture we don't really care about now. What do we do after we build the market here? I think we build a town hall. Let's go market into town hall here. That seems to be the best move in my opinion. Hey, we got our first proper converted native. He's actually in a village that teaches expert indigo planting, and we do intend to eventually make use of that expert indigo planting up here on the prairie. So I would not mind him learning that specialty. We are indeed at the end of the turn. Now I do need to think about our tool supply. I think we'll have enough tools to supply everything we need, but we might not. And even if we don't have enough immediately, we can build a blacksmith shop somewhere else. The question is, where would I like to build another blacksmith shop? Maybe in Mother o' Pearl actually, but their health is already kind of an issue. But that can be fixed pretty easily. They just don't have access to a river though. I'd like to do another blacksmith in Fort Cod. I think that would be ideal, but Fort Cod is already quite large. Yeah, the Great Toll Factory does require a river. We could say screw it and accept that Mother o' Pearl will never have the largest ironworks, but we can still build an ironworks here anyway. So I think that makes sense to me. So let's slot in that blacksmith. We could also pull out the native slaves in order to maintain the happiness and the health levels and push them somewhere else. What do we want to buy? Well, I definitely want to get a weaver here pretty soon. So let's buy a master weaver for 2,880 gold. Now that I've got that weaver, I'd also like to get somebody to slaughter my geese finally. Now, is that a butcher's house? That is indeed a butcher's house. It's not a butcher though, I don't think. It's a very specific profession for slaughtering geese or poultry. I think it's a poultry butcher. Master poultry butcher. So let's grab him for 2,880 gold. That leaves us with 13,000 gold. We'd like to keep 6,000 on hand, so 7,000 we can spend. What is the cost of a hardy pioneer, I wonder? Because I really do want to develop my land a lot faster. 4,560 is not terrible. Let's also consider some other options though. So we got the butcher's house to do the geese butchering. To build the lined leather coats, is it like a fur shop? Tailor shop. I don't think it's a leather worker shop. Got you. So after the tavern, we could go into leather worker house here in Brown Cow. So that would complete that chain. We would just need a master leather worker. Yeah, master leather worker plus 100% production of the boots and the coats. So let's take them. I actually kind of like another boat, I think. But I don't think any of them are decently affordable. Actually, a caravel is 4,440. It's not terrible. Well, it is terrible considering the cargo space. We can go a little bit more expensive than that. I cannot go with Caravella Redonda, but I could go with a flute. Let's also ask the king. It's one of those things that you kind of build by habit, is learning to do certain steps before other steps as you learn to play a game better. And as you learn more about how the game actually works. Anyway, could you help us acquire a used ship? Nope, you could not. Alright. Actually, let's ask him, let's see what happens if we ask him for military assistance. Oh, what? 2,880 gold for a lion infantry? I wonder if this upsets him. Or if we get, like, increased tax rate in the future. Tax rate appears to be the same. He is getting upset because the potential for rebellion is growing in the colonies. Okay. Well, you sold us that lion infantry, bro. And now you're upset about that? I could do 1,920 gold for a light artillery. I'm not too interested in light artillery, though. No thank you. That leaves us with 1,600 gold. Not enough for a ship. We have a merchantman coming in 3 turns. It needs its name changed. That'll be able to pick up 4 of these colonists. I think we should just keep gold on hand, then buy a ship on the next sale that we make. So let's send the galleon back as is. We have self-sufficient. The man stands there like a stump, examining you from head to toe silently. Perhaps you didn't quite understand me the first time you saved from your horse. I asked you if you could spare a sip of water for a traveler. The fellow spits. Who wants to know? He grumbles. Well, I'm the one who gave you the job of cutting this trail through the brush and to lay out this campsite you're standing in front of. He hesitates briefly, then understanding glows in the man's eyes and he smiles. Forgive my manners, Governor. I'm not used to being among people. And this is because we got enough hardy pioneers. We have a farmer recently arrived who got a big loan to buy land, but now he can't pay. He wants to sell everything he has to repay the loan and go back to Europe. We can pay his debts, 1,200 gold, and receive an expert farmer. Or we can pay 1,200 gold and 150 food that is stored in pearly gates for an ox cart. I'm not sure why I would do that. We'll just go ahead, we'll pay his debt, and he'll be a pretty damn cheap expert farmer. Ooh, we have Sor Juana Inez de la Cruz offering to join our cause. Welcoming her gives us a free chapel in every settlement and plus 20% education in all settlements. Do we want to accept her? Well, it's a good question. I think we are probably in the lead religiously, which is kind of weird. I think the French should really be ahead of us in terms of religion. Religious founding fathers. After her is a dude that's all about olives that I do not care about. And then there's Roger Williams, who I do have a little bit of care for. If I can get schoolhouses in every settlement, that +1 cross would help out quite a bit. You know, we do a lot of preaching. That does give us a lot of religious points. I think we can get her and then get him, because I doubt that we're competitive for most other founding fathers at this point. Robert Bakewell is the next. Well, he's taken. Yeah, like we're way behind on getting to William Brewster here, who would actually provide us a lot of good benefits, considering that we have the colonial distiller. He'd also give us an expert sugar planter, 25% more sugar to help match our colonial distiller's output. So he'd be nice, but we're lagging really far behind. The AI just, I think the AI, I really do think that the AI might prefer to just build like political points instead of build buildings. They might see it as being more valuable, or they might do it just to compete with the player on Founding Fathers. Yeah, militarily, the next guy up is a slave dude. I'm not interested in that at all. And then after that is a settler militia dude, who I'm not at all interested in either. But then there's Ethan Allen, who does ranger promotions for gunpowder units. That is really, really good. So we want to think about him possibly after the second religious dude. Politically, we're far behind, of course. But the next dude that we could get is a chicken and goose guy, which is okay. But I don't think a founding father in these competitive conditions is spending on this guy. But then after that, there's an admiral that gives you some ships, and a great admiral. Also strengthens your relations with Europeans and kings. Not too interested in that. What about good old exploration? We're not too far behind the curve. They got Lewis and Clark recently, right here. And then next up is Carl von Linn, who is all about peanuts. I don't care about that. The guy after him is James Cook, an able captain, brig of war, double unique chances for unique goodie hut events, which are really, really rare. I've never encountered one yet. And free promotion of high sea fisherman. What is that? That's against freaking animals. No thanks. Yeah, I think we take our Sor Juana and then we go for the second to next religious founding father. Yeah, second to next after Olive dude. Probably go for the second dude. We'll go for Roger Williams. Then after that, we'll probably go in for Ethan Allen, if possible. So I accept you, Sor Juana Inez de la Cruz. You're actually a very, very helpful person to have. Because now I can have my missionary in Port Stone do his job instead of the expert carpenter. Although they can both do some work. They got enough food on hand that it's okay, I think. I had to switch the hemp farmer over to lumberjacking since I had the failed trader arrive here in Port Stone. But we're going to be certain not to lose that hemp experience. I'm going to get him switched over as soon as I can. God, the French just sail back and forth over my coast. They are super far away from their homeland, which is way over here. They have no reason to be over here unless they're like going all the way around the south of the continent or something ridiculous. Or if they're going to trade with the Portuguese. I'm still not sure if trading with the other Europeans is a good idea. I haven't sent a ship into one of the colonies quite yet. I should do that pretty soon, actually. Engaged in a rebelling native here. Now we cannot recapture this one. It has decided to become violent. And we did have to withdraw. That's okay. But thankfully I had a slave overseer move in from the treasure here that was walking past. So we'll be able to keep him nice and safe from the rebelling native. Although the rebelling native is down to 0.1 strength. So that's no big deal for the slave hunter who ended up at 2.1 strength. Finally got those one fisherman here for brown cow. So now we're making an absolute boatload of food per turn. Of course it could always be higher. There's actually an improvement. I think it's the windmill that improves the amount of food that you harvest per turn. Yeah, the windmill adds an additional 10% food income to its city if its plot is worked by a citizen inside the city. And you can build these on hills specifically. I just don't have enough hardy pioneer time to get all that done. You know what I mean? That's why I'm getting me some more. Hey, that failed trader finally learned how to not suck, I think, in Pearl Harbor. Congratulations, man. You can finish this lumber mill 8 turns early for 648 gold. We've got enough lumber, stone, clay, and tools on hand to satisfy everything except the extra cost of hurrying it. So we're going to do that. Really happy I found out about this purchase button, actually. I had no idea you could hurry buildings in this game. Or at least in this mod. And we've got an expert stone cutter that we can maybe get to do some work down in the southeast mountain down there. Indeed we can. So now we should be pretty good on clay, stone. And once we get that blacksmith shop set up, we'll be doing alright on tools as well. Oh, we got a great general at some point in time. Pretty cool indeed. I need more ships though, man. I got a lot of people to move around. I could buy a ship now, but I think I'd like to wait to actually see what is the best value per cargo slot we have here. The most value is actually the flute at 1,600 gold per cargo slot. So I think we go ahead and we pick the flute up. That will put us below 6,000, but that's okay.